It is Monday, and it's Digimode Monday, 9 o'clock Central European Time, and we are live. Welcome to the stream. And today's going to be a little bit of a different show than usual, because today we're going to talk about Linux and Digimodes. As many of you probably know, I've started the Linux on a laptop for portable operations project. I've got a couple of videos on that, so please check out my other videos if you haven't seen them. And speaking of that, I've done a little bit of experimenting, and this has been harder than I thought it would be, because it wasn't as straightforward as I thought. I thought I was going to install Ubuntu on the laptop and everything would work perfectly from there. But that just didn't happen. So I've done a couple of experiments. I tried Ubuntu, couldn't get it to work. Tried Linux Mint, got it to work. But then I came across a distro called Andy's Ham Radio Linux. I should have actually done my homework and pulled it up already. I can Google it here. Andy's Ham Radio Linux, which is a distro based on Xubuntu 2204. So it's not. It is recent now. The last version was based on Ubuntu 18 point something, so that wasn't the newest distro. But on Saturday, the newest version 25 was released, and I downloaded it. I installed it on my laptop, and it installed pretty straightforward. Had to do a little bit of editing on the users and such, but if you've been using Linux before, and I would expect you as an amateur radio operator that you are somewhat proficient in technology. At least if you go into the Linux on Ham Radio route. Just hang on. Sorry about that. It's been, as usual, a long day. So I installed it, and as I said, it worked pretty much straight away. I haven't done really that much to it. I filled around with FLDigi just to make sure that it works for the stream. But I thought I'd do a little bit of a walkthrough with you guys and see what this distro is. And, sorry about that. And it looks promising this far. So if any of you guys have seen or used this distro before, please let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this in replay. Anyway, just a quick reminder, if you see the banner down there, I got a Buy Me a Coffee account, and if you would like to buy me a coffee, I'd appreciate it, but by no means it's not necessary to enjoy the stream. So, without further ado, let's hop on to my Linux laptop here. And I'm doing this remote just to be able to get it into OBS and everything here. And as you can see, all I have done here is I've set up the 817 here in FLRig. And I got some comments why I prefer to use FLRig. And it's a single point of connection for your radio to all the radio related applications. And for me, that's the preferred way, because it makes it easier to set up all the apps, and it's also easy if you swap your radio. If you swap your radio, you can just swap the settings in FLRig, and everything's fine. So what I've done, I got the 817 hooked up, and in order for demonstration purposes, I've hooked it up to an amp. I released this video last week on the Hard Rock 50 amplifier, so that'll give me a little bit more punch out, which probably will be good to test here. And it's run through the U5 link interface, which is nothing fancy. It is FDDI USB to serial port adapter, and it's just a converter from the Yaesu sound plug, the DIN plug, to mini jack connectors. So the sound goes into an external sound card here, and the cat control is done through USB. So we'll just have a look here in the start menu, because Andy, who made this distro, he even put a ham radio menu here. And there is a lot of apps, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't know what half of these do. I will be exploring them though. But you got Chirp here if you want to program your Baofangs or your other radios. You got FL Digi for your common Digimodes. You got FL Rig for rig control. You got FreeDV if you want to explore that. I haven't actually tried FreeDV. That might be a topic for another Digimode Monday, which is voice, digital voice over HF. You got Grid Tracker, which actually isn't included due to some issues with Grid Tracker, but it's straightforward to install afterwards. You get JS8 Call, you get JTDX, you get WSJTX, you got Nano VNA Saver, which is actually great. And just hang on, guys, I got a kind of a cat emergency here, so I'll be straight back. Sorry about that. Cat and teenager emergency there. Never mind. You got the Nano VNA Saver, which I had a hard time setting up on Ubuntu and on Linux Mint. I haven't tried it with my Nano VNA here, but hopefully that'll work well. You got a couple of loggers. Yeah, you got pretty much every ham-related app. Even Waterfall View, which is a remote app for ICOM radios. And Exaster, which is for APRS as far as I know. So it'll be exciting to explore this. So what do you think in the chat? Which app should I do first? Should just do a little bit of FT8 to see if it works. Let's start up WSJT, and we'll do Grid Tracker at the same time here. See what happens. We got Grid Tracker and WSJTX up and running. Let's check the mode here. We're in FT8. And we just got to get through the right frequency here. See if we get it to work here. See if we can get a QSO here. And this is not going to be FT8 live. It's just going to be a way of testing it. So we'll just find a clear spot, let it run for a couple of cycles here, and just do a couple of CQs. And hopefully that'll work. Today's antenna is an NFED half wave cut for 40 meters. Pretty much the same antenna as I've used on my other live streams. So that works well. It's one of my favorite antennas. Perhaps except for my 10-meter beam nowadays. But as you guys probably have noticed, or I've probably let you know, my rotor's not working. And I've tried to get another rotor working. Haven't been able to do that. So I don't know. I might be tempted to buy a new rotor just to see. So we'll see how that works out. I want to get my rotor up and running anyway before 10 meter and 6 meter really kicks off. And I'm running half power on the 817 here. So the amp is producing about 30 watts out here, which should be plenty for FT8. So, and just sorry, got another cat emergency. I'll try to let the cat out of the shack. So, yeah, we are back, and I've been calling 2 CQs while I try to find where the cat wanted to go. That always happens on my live videos. So, and because of everyone else in the house, I can't really keep the door open, but we'll reply to this German station here and see what happens. So I think we're going to do first a little bit of FT8, just get a QSO or two, and maybe try JS8 call, which is probably the easiest apps, just get running. And I'm not going to go into Hellstriber or any of the other Digimodes right now, but we'll just see what happens. So, and we're almost done with the QSO here. So as you can see, it works, and it's been a lot easier than trying to get Ubuntu to work. I had some issues with FL rig on Ubuntu, and I couldn't get past those. And we made FT8 QSO with a German station here. And on Linux Mint, it pretty much worked, but yeah, I couldn't really get comfortable with that either. And the FL rig version in the repositories was old, so I had to compile my own. So, but we got this working. So let's try. Hang on. Let's see where we spotted on PSK Reporter here. Let's do an update here. And there's a 6-minute delay on PSK Reporter, so that's not gonna be helpful for us today. So let's get back to the Linux box here and see. So how about we just try 20 and see if there's any more luck on 20 meters. And you guys in the chat, you're really quiet today. Please feel free to participate and help me along with the stream. Let's see what happens on 20 here. Yeah, we can hear Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Slovenia, Netherlands. Those are the stations calling CQ. But I'll do the same as I did on 40. I'll do my own calling CQ here. And I gotta say, the Hard Rock 50 amp is a great amp. It's a bit on the expensive side, as some of you guys pointed out in the comments. But yeah, I really do like it. It is really effective. It's built like a rock, like a hard rock, and it's just good. I've set it up to trigger on RFN since I don't have the PTT cable. And there is also a built-in tuner, but I'm using a resonant antenna, so I haven't really tried that out yet. But I figured it'd work good. Tried it out portable yesterday with a hamstick and the dude spike. That didn't go really too well. Ended up, yeah, I had one QSO in about 45 minutes, unfortunately. But yeah, that was more due to band conditions than anything else. But back to the 10 meter beam while I do this QSO. I got the 10 meter beam up. And since the rotor isn't working, I actually managed to work Brazil the other day on the side of my beam on 50 watts FT8 on 10 meters. And that's a personal best for me on 10. And as most of you guys probably know, I'm a new ham, so I haven't been there through the rise and fall of a solar cycle. I got my license on solar minimum, so everything's kind of just gets better for me, at least for the first 7 years or so. And doesn't look like we're got a French station replying to us there. And let's see how that goes. Still going out with about 20 watts here. We could perhaps try a heartbeat on Jay's 8 call as well. But as a proof of concept and just as a proof of how well this distro is, I just got to say that, yeah, I really, really like it. It's easy. It's probably been the easiest Linux thing I've ever set up with something as complicated as ham radio. And that's good. Makes it easy. And see if we can get this to pull through here. And I get the usual YouTube bandwidth error messages, but I've kind of started to ignore those because as far as I can see, my stream is working fine. And when I've looked at my recordings, everything's been working fine as well. And yeah, there we go. Got the French station and the log. And regarding this Andy's Ham Radio Linux, I'm going to do a video on it probably during this week after I've tested it for a little while and do a review. And I also think this will be a nice companion to when I get the QDX up and running and built. I just need some help with that because I've realized I'm not that good of a kit builder that I can pull that off myself. It's just really, really complicated. So I've realized that that's way too complicated for me. But I really look forward to get the radio up and running because it looks like the perfect portable Digimode companion. It's one coax cable, one power cable, and one USB cable, and you're up and running on digital modes. Let's pick, what do you guys say, 40 or 20 for the heartbeat? I'll go for 20 since we're already on 20. And I'll send a heartbeat here and see what happens. And PSK reporter actually, it's come back with some spots here. So while I send my heartbeat and we get the results back on that, let's switch over to PSK reporter. So actually with 30 watts FT8, we're spotted a little bit in North America and pretty much all across Europe on 40 and 20. So that's really good. Let's get back to the Linux box here and see what happens. And actually no replies to my heartbeat there. Okay, we'll switch to 40 and see. And I just gotta switch my amp to 40 as well. I don't know. When I've tried Jay's 8 call, 40 always looks like the better band for Jay's 8. There is a lot more activity there. So we'll do a heartbeat here as well. See what happens. And I can hear the amp triggering. Still going out with about 30 watts, which should be enough. I mean, I could do this. I could hook up my 7300 for this project here, but that is not how I'm going to use this laptop. I'm going to use the 7300 in the shack, and I'm going to use the 817 portable with an amp when that's a possibility. But the 817 is my portable computer, and that's the entire reason why I'll be using why I use the 817 here now. That, and I really love the radio. It's an older radio. I mean, it's about 20 years old, or probably more than 20 years old. But it's built like a tank, except for the power plug, and that's easily fixed. Just need a power pole adapter for that. And the power connection is also built like a tank when you insert that. It'll last through a nuclear war, if so. And it does all mode, all band, and does digital, as long as you get some kind of an interface. And I hear people speak well about the Digirig interfaces. Haven't used those. I got the U5 link. Could probably use a Signal link as well. But the U5 link works well. And as you can see here, I got one reply to my heartbeat. So I guess conditions aren't the best here. So that's about a quick demonstration here on a couple of Digimodes. I don't know. Should we do a couple more FT8 calls, or should we explore something else? What do you guys think? I don't think it's the usual crowd that is in the chat today, because I don't really get much feedback today. Usually I I get a lot of feedback in the chat, but today it's been all quiet, except for my own message where I said test. So yeah, we'll do a couple more FT8 calls, and then we'll probably call it a quit. And I'm gonna get back to do a really deep test of Andy's Ham Radio Linux. But as far as I can see now, it works well. So let's start Grid Tracker here as well. And while everything starts up here, just a reminder, since I probably got somewhat of a newer crowd today, I still got my antenna kits up for sale, and sold quite a bit of those, and the feedback I've been getting is good, predominantly good. Haven't got any bad feedback yet. So if you're new to the hobby or anything and you want to build your own antenna kit, I can really recommend my own kit here. But let's get back here. Okay, we tried 40, we tried 20. Let's go to 15 and see. Just got to flip my amp to 15 meters here. See if there's anything on 15. There's not much on 15. Compared to yesterday, where the bands were booming, it's a little bit slower today. But we'll do as we did on the other bands. We'll do a quick CQ as well here, and see if we can get a QSO here as well. Hopefully we can. And probably call it quits after that. And it also looks like PSK Reporter is back and up and running, so we'll check that after a couple of CQs just to see if we're spotted anywhere. So might be, might not be. And I'm also open for suggestions for next week's Digimode Monday. Might try free DV. That might be a big failure. I haven't heard about anyone that has had a successful QSO on free DV, but it might be worth looking into. Let's update here and see what happens. Yeah, we got some spots, and look at that. We're even spotted down under. So, even on Tasmania. It's not Hayden, though. After everyone talked during the YouTubers Hamfest about having Hayden in the log, I'd really like to have Hayden in my log as well. So, let's see here. We got some spots around Europe on 15, and that's about it. So, might not be a good night for this. Let's just see if we get a QSO here. Looks kind of quiet here. Might just be easier to reply to someone. We'll reply to this Belgian station here, Oscar November 2 Bravo Delta India, I think. It's kind of hard though because the screen on the laptop is a 1080p screen and my screen here is a 4K screen. And finally, there is someone in the chat. Hello, Anton. Did you just arrive? Because the chat's been awful quiet today. So it's been slow. It's been a tough pull through, but at least I've been able to show off the Andy's Ham Radio Linux. Okay, Anton just dropped by. Good, Anton. What I've been talking about while you haven't been here is doing free DV as my next Digimode Monday project, which will probably be next Monday, actually. I'm moving toward, let's call it a more relaxed work schedule for a little bit. So, and how was the field weekend, Anton? And do you guys in Netherlands end your weekend on a Monday? That's my next question. Yes, free TV is a challenge. I've never tried it. I've seen it used once on, I think it was Ham Radio Crash Course. I think Josh had a stream about it. And as far as I recall, he didn't make any QSOs during his stream. So that will be a challenge. But hey, isn't that why we do this? That's why we do this hobby. We could use phones. We could use the internet. And we managed to do this. We managed to do it by radio instead because it is challenging, but it is also rewarding. And yeah, field weekend is always exhausting. But it is fun. And in portable operations, that's why I'm doing this Linux project as well. I love portable operations. I love the challenges of not being near a power grid. I love the challenges of needing to rig your antenna up for your specific purpose. And I love just the whole feeling of operating outside your shack. That feeling when you get the QSO with someone, let's say North America, down under, somewhere in Asia, on a compromised antenna and somewhere between 5 and 20 watts. That is rewarding. Doing it with a beam antenna and lots of power from your shack. That's a calculation. That is not That is not hard. And actually, look at that. My own daughter is here. And she is, let's say, she's not a fan of ham radio. Yeah, 10 watts. 10 watts is usually more than enough. I remember my first transatlantic DX. I did that on 20 watts and a dipole. And Amalia, Anton says hi. So, yeah, I did my first transatlantic QZO. I did that on 20 watts with a G90 and a dipole while camping. And that's kind of the fun about it. It makes it really enjoyable. And I even did, while camping last year out on an island in a lake, I managed to work New Mexico from Norway on 20 watts SSB. That is rewarding. Working somewhere in North America during a contest weekend where you get your antennas and your power and everything optimized at home. That is not. That is not. Well, it is rewarding. I gotta admit, it is rewarding, but it's not rewarding in the same way. And Amalia, Anton's got some words of wisdom to you. It's a great way of making friends worldwide. Yeah, it is. Even though the actual radio bit might not be what's making the friendships, because we make these short, calculated QZOs. But the community aspect of it is really rewarding. Yeah, the DX Commander Rapide. Yeah, I've been really wanting a DX Commander for a while now. I even tried to build my own DIY Commander. And that didn't work. Turned out to be about 50% more cost. And it broke into the first night with frost. So next time I'll buy a DX Commander kit and build it from that. And yeah, I kind of agree with you there on radio. It might not be the most important part of the hobby, but having a common platform and a common interest is. And the way we amateur radio operators explore the hobby, that's what fascinates me. And I can see the U.S. Virgin Islands as calling CQ here. So I'm just going to see if I can work. And how come I can't double click there to get it? Okay, there is something with Grid Tracker on Linux. I'm used to being able to double click. Let's see if I can find the Virgin Islands here. And kind of lost them. So there. Let's see. Anton's been visiting a German ham. Meant to just go there for the day, stayed 3 days. Yeah, that is the way it happens in this hobby. You meet people, you got some common ground, and you end up talking about the things that make you common. And in this society and in the polarized world of social media, and don't get me wrong, I use a lot of social media myself, but it does kind of bring a lot of polarization into the world. Whereas radio or ham radio, by definition, is non-political. And I've been talking about this earlier, but that means you meet people on a common platform with a common view of, at least, that you are using technology. The purposes or what you do with the technology, that might vary within the hobby. It is a hobby of 1,000 hobbies, as Steve K9G says. So but it is still some common ground, and you need to have a license. You need to have that common ground in order to be a ham. So that helps a lot. And yeah, that's a fascinating aspect for me. And just being able to do like I'm doing today. I'm setting up a laptop with Linux for ham radio, and I'm showing that to the world. It is a hobby where everybody contributes to the hobby, and you share. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this YouTube channel as well. I'm doing this to share my experiences. And as a new ham, you kind of meet a lot of older hams that are experienced, that have done the mistakes. But if a new ham can make a YouTube channel and make those mistakes, maybe live on YouTube, or at least explain that it might not be as easy as you think. And there we got the Kilo Papa 2 Bravo station. We're going to try to hook that up. I'm not necessarily talking about the Elmers there, Anton, because the Elmers are the ones that are there to help you. I'm talking about those that have done it but aren't really necessarily wanting to share. And I mean, everybody's been new once, and let's be honest about it. It is a hobby, mostly consisting of middle-aged men and upwards, and that's let's try to bring something new into the hobby. Let's share. Let's go forward. And you're right about that, Anton. Because we younger ones, it's not a lot of times I can call myself a younger one, but in ham radio I can. And because you got a new perspective as a younger ham, you got another perspective on technology. Although I'm not the generation that grew up not knowing a world before the internet, but I'm the last generation to know a world before the internet. I'm the last generation to know that it was a Cold War, that we for all realities had an Iron Curtain across Europe, and that kind of gives you a perspective on things. Yeah, Anton, I probably think so. I think most of us ham tubers are somewhere between 40 and 50, which is kind of natural. We're too old to be influencers, but we kind of want to be YouTubers anyway. So Anton's, yeah, I'm 45, Anton. So we're about the same age. So, and the scary thing though, Anton, is when we grew up, just think about this. When we grew up in the 80s, World War II was about 40 years away. And now that's the 70s. Think about that. The 90s are 30 years away. So I guess, yeah, we're getting older. And I'm going to do one more call for the station on the Virgin Islands. Don't think I'm going to get it. And if that doesn't happen, I see I'm closing in on the 45-minute mark, which is where I try to start to close things up. So, no cable TV, no internet, no mobile. Yeah, and in Norway, actually, I don't know about the Netherlands, but I grew up on the west coast of Norway. We had one TV channel and one radio channel until I was 7 years old. And then we had two radio channels, still one TV channel. That was different. Everyone watched the same programs. Everyone had the same references, cultural references, which is kind of lacking today. And I'm by no means a grumpy old man here, because I see a lot of positive things about it. But that's kind of where my fascination for ham radio comes from as well. I remember a world where radio was a way to connect with the outside world. So I'm just going to go back to the full screen image here. And in the Netherlands, you had 2 TV channels and 5 radio channels. Yeah. But I mean, you were probably able to get TV and radio from other countries, though. I would guess so. I can see my wife, which grew up here close to the border, they had Swedish TV. And the people my age here has a totally different set of cultural references than I do. So that's something to think about. But anyway, kind of drifted away from the topic of the stream, which is kind of fun though. But getting back to the stream and Andy's Ham Radio Linux. You should try it if you have something to try it. Even on a virtual machine, you should try it. I'm not going to say anything more because I haven't done a real test of it. I've basically installed it and I've been using it now. So, but yeah, I'll be testing it throughout the week, and if it works, that'll be my solution for portable, both soda poda and while I'm camping. So, we got some radio related message in the chat here. Anton was sometimes able to receive radio from England and Germany. Yeah, so was I on AM, on medium wave. I actually listened to Radio Luxembourg, probably the last generation to do that as well. And so I did that on medium wave. And I had a shortwave radio, a Sony shortwave radio, which was extremely good, extremely nice to have. And I picked up all these different kind of languages, and that was kind of something that fascinated me and led me into having an interest for this hobby. So, yeah, that was kind of forming for me, being able to listen to all these strange languages, which I didn't know, but it was still, I knew it was something from far away. And in 1994, I went to Illinois in the Midwest, USA, as an exchange student. I was 17 years old, and this was pre-internet. And a shortwave radio was my way of getting the news from back home. Then an airmail newspaper, which was printed on airmail paper. And you young guys probably don't know what airmail paper is, but it's thin. It's so thin you can see straight through it when you hold it up against the light. And that newspaper and shortwave radio was, yeah, the only thing that that really kept me on what was happening in Europe and in Scandinavia. So, I'm drifting away again. But that's good. That's good to just talk. And I like doing these kind of streams because they're not scripted. They're kind of, I mean, they're based on what happens with the people around me. And the interactions in the chat. And that kind of makes it different from pre-recording a video. And speaking about pre-recorded videos, I am doing a review about Andy's Ham Radio Linux soon. And I got a couple of other projects as well. I released a video today where I reviewed radio from the late 70s, Kenwood TR2300, a 2 meter, hang on. It is kind of a strange radio. It is a 2 meter radio in the form of a mobile radio, as you can see. But it runs behind this door here. There are 10 AA batteries, so it runs on batteries. And you're gonna see something interesting here. It's got a built-in antenna. Uses a whopping 1 watt. picked that up from a junk box. Actually picked 2 of these up from a junk box. Just because I wanted to look at the radio. And I managed to get one working, piecing together parts from both of them. Just got to put the radio down. And I got another radio as well, an ICOM IC2E handy talkie, which the battery is dead. But I went on eBay, found a AA battery box for it, so I'm waiting for that to arrive. So I'm going to do a thing about that as well when it arrives. And I got a couple of other radios, a couple of old Summer Camp and Yaesu Almo 2-meter radios in the basement, which I kind of really want to do a review on as well. I kind of like these old radios. It reminds me of a time before computers and internet. And also, I'm probably going to do a thing or two about getting my hotspot up and running, and see if I can get it up and running. The Raspberry Pi Zero is probably a little bit too slow, even though most hotspots are on Raspberry Pi Zeros. So that's what's coming ahead on my channel. And as I said when I started, I got a link down here to buy me a coffee. Feel free to buy me a coffee, but don't feel pressured to do so. But it helps me run the channel. Also, still got my antenna kits up for sale. You'll find a link for those down below as well. So I've passed the 45-minute mark now, so I'm gonna call it quits. And thank you, Anton, for participating in the chat, the only one today. But hopefully there will be more next Monday when we're doing free DV. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it straight out. We're doing free DV next Monday. And that's scary. That is really scary. So, hope you'll be on then, Anton. Really hope you'll be on so I can at least make one QSO. So, until next time, 7-3.